Hello, welcome. Glad to have you here. And I'm going to go through and mute everyone. If you need to talk, you're welcome to chat in if you want. I mean, to talk, you can undo your microphone. I just do it as people come in, kind of makes it a little bit easier. Welcome to class. James, just you. Can you hear me? Okay, James, can you? I don't know if can you hear me, James? Yep. Okay, he's muted. All right. Well, I think I can hear you because I can see the microphone moving. So we should be good to go. Glad to have you here with us. This is Math 226, and with DeVry. It's a statistics class, and they've much improved the process for this class, and I think you're going to like it a lot better. Today, our focus is going to be going through and helping you better understand the content, and then I also want to show you where you can find some resources for help and kind of make sure that you know how to be successful in this class. If you have questions, please feel free to ask. I will have a meeting once a week, different times, because I know that some people are back east. I'm in California, so this is 5 o'clock for me. Those who are back east, this is a little bit later at 8 o'clock, so it makes it a little harder sometimes. So I try to do it at different times to allow people to join in. I always will record these. I'll always post them in the announcements, and I'll send them as an email for you to watch. If you have questions, please feel free to email me, post in the discussions. You can always set up a time, and I'm happy to give you a call if you want to. We can set up a private Zoom session if you need to. If you have questions, I'm happy to help. Please, this is a little bit of an isolated class because you're online, and so sometimes this is hard. So please feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to accommodate that and have conversations as you have them. So tonight we're going to go pretty quickly through some content, not content, but just show you what's up in the class. Make sure you understand what's required, the different types of homework discussions and things along those lines, and give you some deadlines and the rest of that. And so that way you're ready to be successful. Me, Corey Greenlaw. I've been with DeVry for, gosh, a few years now. I taught on ground for a while. I stopped for a while, and then I've been teaching online for a couple of years now. Taught statistics for many years in many universities under many situations, so I have lots of experience with that. And like I said, literally, this is the first semester Math 226 has updated the actual course and the content in it to make it really user-friendly for you. So I'm going to show you some things that are pretty awesome that are going to really help you out with this class and help you to be successful. So please use the resources. So first and foremost, here's the syllabus. The syllabus in Canvas is a little bit worthless sometimes, but you'll see the syllabus will basically show you most of the things that are kind of when they're due, and that's going to kind of help you out, help you know your due dates. So one of the things you'll see that each one of these areas, there are due dates in these, and I'm going to talk about all of them. And I'm gonna do the one thing that I am a little mean about, and I apologize about this up front, but having done this for so long, I've learned this the hard way. I'm pretty hardcore about due dates when it comes to your discussions and your homework. You're going to have homework, you'll see, every single week. You'll have homework this week, and you'll see when it's due. It's going to be due on Sunday of the upcoming week, the following week. So week 1 homework is going to be due next Sunday. It's due by 10:59. It's just the way it works. I encourage you to start it early. I'm not going to accept homework after 10:59 on Sunday, January 11th for week 1. The reason is this, is I found that if I say, oh yeah, turn it in whenever you want, nobody does their homework, and then in week 8, everybody tries to do their homework, and you fail the tests. There is a quiz that happens after 2 weeks of instruction. So you're going to have week 1 and week 2. You'll have a quiz in week 3 that will cover week 1 and week 2. You're going to have week 3 and week 4. You're going to have a quiz in week 5 that covers week 3 and week 4. It is directly related to the homework. If you don't complete the homework in a timely manner, you will fail the quiz. So you must get those homework assignments done. So that's the reason I say to you, I'm not going to accept them late. Please get them done on time. Please do them. They are your best resource, your best study, the best way for you to prepare for those quizzes. And the quizzes are worth a lot of points. So if you don't do the homework and just kind of blow it off, the quizzes are going to be really hard. So I know it sounds like I'm being a meanie, but I'm trying to help you be successful in the class, and this is the best way I know how. You also have discussions. So you'll see in here that you'll have descriptive statistics. This is a discussion. Then you'll have probabilities in the real world. As is expected with most discussions, I want you to participate during the week of the discussion. So once the discussion closes, which in this case is again Sunday, you can't go back and post. So you need to make sure you get those in there. The labs I'm a little more flexible on in the sense that I let you turn the labs due. We'll talk about it, so don't stress. We'll talk next week about the lab. It'll be due at the end of weeks 2, 4, and 6. If something happens, you need to turn them in the next week. I allow that because those take a little more time to do. Not as stressed about those. Now, as I said in the email early on, if something happens, house is burning down, and you have a serious emergency, email me beforehand. Don't email me 4 days after the due date and say, oh yeah, I didn't get this done. Can I now have the time? I'm a lot more sympathetic when you get it beforehand. And I know I'm sounding like a meanie. I'm not. I just want to help you be successful. There's a lot of content in this, and it moves really fast in 8 weeks, really 7 weeks, because if you look at it, week 8, which is down here, is simply a paper. There's really no content that you're going to learn in week 8. So we have 7 weeks to get this done, and to be successful, you got to be on your game. So I really want you to be successful, and the way that I found that helps you be successful is if you stay on the homework and get it done every week. Get the labs done, do those things, and you're going to be fine. Again, I'm going to show you a ton of resources that are going to help you with each one of these elements, and it's going to be pretty useful for you to do. So that's our syllabus. So you'll see that. So the total of things that we do is we have discussions each week, homework each week, and then you're going to have a quiz every other week. You'll have a lab every other week. The only weeks you don't have that is this week. You only have week 1, you have descriptive statistics and homework. Then you start this process: lab, quiz, lab, quiz, lab, quiz, and then reflection. Your content for week 7, there's going to be no quiz associated with that. It will be the homework, but you will have to incorporate some of the content into your reflection paper. And we'll deal with the reflection paper as we go along. Don't stress too much about it. We'll get to that as we get later on in the course. I'll spend some time on it. Each week that a lab's due, I'll spend time going through and show you where the lab data is. The lab data is in the files section. So if you go up here and see files, you will see there's our lab data right there. And then I'll show you where in the modules as you go through. So here's week 2. You'll see a lab overview and a lab. This is where you submit the lab. This is where you get the lab information. So if you click on the lab overview, it tells you about what the lab is, gives you the documents you're going to need to link to, and gives you information that you're going to need to go. Okay, so that's the lab. Let's talk a little bit about homework first. So here's the modules. These are lots of great things for you. You have some plans, you have some overview, which is great. Here's the link to the book. Book's okay, not great, but it's okay. It has some resources, but that's not your strong point. Your best thing to do is right here at DeVryTutors.com. So I'm going to open this up for us. It opens up a new web page. Let me show you where to find that again. We go back into modules. So it's modules right here. Scroll down into Introduction and Resources. You'll find DeVryTutors.com. Now, DeVryTutors.com, this is pretty awesome, but the only problem is we're not going to find Math 226 in here. If you scroll down, maybe they've changed it. They haven't. Math 226 right here is, or Math 221 is the same thing as Math 226, same content. So if you go in and click on Visit Page, you'll be able to see here are each one of the weeks. Now, there's no longer live recordings of these things because they have them already, but you can go in and you can click on the recording. So for week 1, you want to learn the content, you go into the week 1 recording and it will show you, teach you all the content. I encourage you to do this ASAP. Start immediately. Start this tonight when you're done with this call. This is the way to learn the content. It's awesome. It's a really good resource. It's an hour long. Helps you out with whatever you need to do. It'll help you with all the content. So that's under tutoring. So if you get stuck though and you say, you know what, I really don't know what I'm doing, You can also request tutoring here. Please do that sooner than later if you feel like you're going to need it. Don't wait till week 7 because it's going to be too late. Week 1 for you is going to be pretty easy. We start picking up speed in week 2. By week 3, you should know if you need some tutoring. And I would encourage you to get on that as soon as you can. It's free. It's a great way for you to be able to get some extra help on the side. So I encourage you to reach out and do that. Okay, so again, you got that under your modules. You go down to that first section you have, DeVryTutors.com. Super useful for you to go and see. So here's a week 1 lesson that you're going to have all the content. It may look a little bit different than yours because I'm the teacher and Canvas always looks a little bit different. Has the introduction, has a nice information for the lesson, which is great. Here's your first resource. That's super awesome. Week 1 resources. I click on that. This is all the resources for week 1. The first thing is your week 1 spreadsheet, which I'm going to click on, and I'm going to open that up in a minute because we're going to use that. I'm going to show you how to use it. But here's the other thing. This is brilliant. I'm telling you guys. I've done a lot of statistics classes. I've never seen this many resources in different universities. Here are a couple of videos that go over main concepts to help you better understand the overall stuff that we're studying. Here are some videos that will help you specifically with homework questions. If you need to know how to calculate the mean and standard deviation, there's a 2-minute video that shows you. How to actually compare the distributions of those standard deviations and the rest, it's a 3-minute video, each one of these. You're gonna have a question on the empirical rule, and you're gonna be like, what the heck is the empirical rule? Here you go. It's very easy for you to use. Totally recommend you jumping in and get on that. Then you're gonna have some homework help files. Here are all the files that you can do. If you need to know what types of systematic or what all these things mean, you click on one of these and I'll show you. It opens it up, and it's going to open up a Word document for you, and it shows you specifically the elements. Now, let me tell you, you are going to be asked questions on the quiz and on your homework on these types of things. So random sampling, cluster sampling. If you have this in here, now you have these as a resource for you to use. Really helpful for you. I promise you, this is where you're going to get most of the resources from. This is going to be where you're going to find your greatest amount of success. Please use these resources that are available to you. So the spreadsheet's in here too. We didn't open that yet, but let's take a look at it for a minute. So here's our spreadsheet. You will have a different spreadsheet pretty much for every week. It's not going to be for every week, but most weeks. So the way these work is that the green cells are things you're going to put data in. The yellow cells are the things that are going to produce the data for you. They're going to give you the answers, okay? So all of them are locked. You can see here's the descriptive statistics one. Here's one for frequency distributions, which you'll learn a little bit about. And here's the scatter plot one, which you won't use right now, but you'll use those later. Tells you a little bit about how to use it, how to put in the data, and then it'll show you kind of what it's doing. So these are, again, I mean, like, seriously, you must keep these in mind and use them. So let's take a look at some of the resources. So we go back to modules. So there's your spreadsheet. So you'll see if we get into week 2, we go to our week 2 resources, which are here. You'll see they also have, so sorry, here's the week 1 resources because you're using the same spreadsheet. Let's go back to week 3. Week 1 and 2 use the same spreadsheet. Week 3 has a different spreadsheet. So here's week 3's spreadsheet. And as you go through, week 4 will have one, week 5, week 6, week 7. Week 8 obviously won't have one. And they're useful. Please make sure you download them. Please make sure you use them as you're going through the homework. So let's see how we would do this. So let's take a look at week 1. So this first week, you're going to spend your time, if you go through your lesson, which is here. Lesson's pretty useful. It's going to give you some history on statistics. It's going to talk about what it is. They're going to talk about graphs and what they mean. You'll learn a little bit about histograms. They'll show you a video on how to actually create a histogram in there, show you some more information with different types of bimodal or symmetrical distributions that you'll have. Lots of resources. Again, here's another video that's going to show you some about how to use this spreadsheet. Please make sure you use it. Explains the empirical rule to you, gives more information about the empirical rule, and then it talks about some of the standard z-scores that are available to you. Okay, so that's the lesson. That video tutorial, which I showed you here, will go through that in depth. So watch it. Make sure you watch it. It's very useful for you. Then you're going to go in, and once you kind of have a command on things, you're going to go back here to the week 1 homework, which is here. It's worth 40 points. You don't want to miss the homework. You want these points. I want you to see this. It might look a little different for you, but what you can do is, I want you to see this. It's a graded quiz worth 40 points. You have no time limit, so you can take as long as you need, and you can take multiple attempts, unlimited attempts with the highest score kept. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is you should get all 40 points from these homeworks. As you're doing the homework, you should get 100%. There should not be something where you're going to only get 10 points or 15 or 20. Keep doing it until you get 100% of the points, because it's very important for you to get all that data, to get all those points. So please make sure that you're doing that as you're going through. Let's take a look at what they look like so you can kind of see it. I'll show you in a preview for the homework and what it looks like. So here's a quiz. Now, let me show you. This is really standard for this. Here's the actual question. A recent survey of the alumni of the university indicated that the average salary of $10,000 is of its 200,000 graduates was $130,000. $130,000 would be considered what? All right, well, as you're watching the lecture, as you're reading through and reviewing the content, you'll have learned about that, but they want to help you, so they're going to give you a link to a document right here where the information to that question is contained. I mean, come on, guys, they're giving you the resources. Use them. Here's is it a parameter? Is it a sample? Is it a statistic? It will help explain that to you, so then you can answer this correctly. Every one of the questions is multiple choice, which is pretty nice. Go through there. Some of them are requiring you to actually do a calculation, and they're about 20 questions each that you're going to go through. So let's see here, one that actually has numbers up here. Let's see here, variance. Which of the following would be the variance of this population? Let's do a different one that's a little easier. Which of the following would be the standard deviations population? Okay, so you've got these numbers here. It can show you how to calculate it, but remember, we got a nice little thing over here. So let's do this really fast. It's a little small. We're going to open this up. We're going to pull our data into here, and we have our data right there. It's 67. We can type it in. 67, 54, 30, 77, 92, 41, 75, and 81. And so let's count to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 81, 75, 41, 92, 77, 30, 54, 67. Okay, and so then it gives us, here's our standard deviation. So we'd have to look at it to make sure we want the standard deviation of this population data. So we look at our population standard deviation, and we'd have the data, and then we'd be able to use that. Okay, so you got to watch it closely as a population or sample. So you look at, both of them are in there, but you have to be able to read what it says. Okay. So that's as hard as this gets. You want to do the homework. Get the homework done every week. It's a ton of points for you. And then you're going to do discussions. Your discussions are pretty straightforward. They're down, well, I'll show you where the discussions are from here. Here are discussions. We've already started some of those. Here are introductions. These are worth 20 points, so please make sure that you get those in. You'll go in and do your descriptive statistics. You're going to be given some information, and you're going to have to comment back to your peers, okay? So I'll go in and I'll be moderating some of that. I'll give you some feedback, and then I will also provide some information for you as you go along, and maybe I'll put some new questions and new things in so you can watch for those as well. But as you look at the discussions, let me see if it actually takes you to, here's this. I think it takes you right to the discussion. It does. So the discussions you've got to post, if you look, let's see if we have, the rubric. It should have the rubric in here somewhere. Anyway, yours looks different than mine, and I apologize about that. So when you're looking at your discussions, you're going to have to post by Wednesday. You need to post 3 responses, 1 initial and 2 replies to your peers, and they need to be substantive. So substantive means that one line, I agree, or thanks for posting this, or yeah, that's a great point. That's not substantive. Substantive means that you add to the conversation, you ask a good question, you provide some information back. You do have to have those in by Wednesday, and I won't give full credit for just 1-line responses or even 2-line sometimes. I want you to be thoughtful. I'll try to give you some additional resources to add in, but you want to make sure that you're thoughtful about those. And this is just a way for us to make sure that we're communicating. It's also a place to ask questions about the things you're doing. And then those are due by Sunday, but you got to make sure you get your initial response in by Wednesday, first response by Wednesday. So that's kind of the class. You're going to spend some time going through content in that recording. You're going to spend some time going through content in the lesson. My weekly sessions are simply going to be a way for me to kind of go through some of the homework with you to make sure you have an understanding of that, and then to answer questions that you may have. Because the recordings are done so early now, I may wait until Tuesday or Wednesday during the week to have these, only because they provide you with, you can spend some time already doing the study, and then you can ask me questions. Next week, I'll probably do it pretty early, Monday or Tuesday, only because you have a lab, and the labs tend to be a little more challenging to people. So that's all the new content I have for tonight. I'm excited to be part of this. I really like teaching statistics, and I know I'm weird, but I think you can be successful. I think DeVry has really done a good job of providing you almost too many resources to be able to pass this class. So please make sure you use them. Please stay on top of things. Communicate with me if you have issues. I'm happy to help. If you have questions, please unmute yourself, shout it out. Happy to hear from you, and let me know if you have questions for me. You can chat or talk, whichever you want. Well, if you don't have questions, then you're welcome to log off if you want to. I'll stick around for a little bit, see if anybody else shows up. But if you don't have questions, there's no need for you to stick around, because I'm kind of done with new content. It's your choice totally. Let me know what questions you may have. All right, James, it's just you and me, but I'm happy to answer questions if you have them. So let me know if you have questions. No, spreadsheet's not graded. No, it's just there for you as a resource as you need it. If it really should be used. You don't have to turn in anything from it. You just use it to answer the questions on the quiz or on your lab as well. No problem. The easiest thing is if you need to, I don't give up my phone number, but I give you an email, and I'm pretty quick on my email that way. And I would respond, and we could set up a Zoom call. That's what I found to be most successful in the past. And if we need to, we can set up a call as we go along. Email is probably the best way, though. That work for you? Right on. Well, it looks like no one else is going to join us, so I'm going to call it a night. If you have other questions, feel free to email along, and we're happy to meet. And I'll send you a link for everyone to decide, kind of what's going on for the date next week. You got it. Have a great night, great week. Good luck on that, and we will talk to you next week.